Imagine walking into an Apple store in late 2025. The glass walls are shining, the giant screens are looping promo videos, and right in the middle of the floor is the brand new iPad Pro M5. You see people gathering around, picking it up, testing it, whispering to each other about the speed, the display, and the possibilities. But here's the interesting part. Unlike some previous Apple launches, this one isn't about wild redesigns or shocking features that nobody asked for. Instead, Apple seems to be making a quiet but bold statement that the real future of the iPad Pro lies in refinement, in raw power, and in smart choices rather than flashy gimmicks. And that's exactly what we're going to explore in detail today. Over the next half hour, I'll take you deep inside everything you need to know about the upcoming M5 iPad Pro, the leaks, the rumors, the subtle surprises, and the meaning behind Apple's decisions. By the time we're done, you'll know whether this is a must-have upgrade or just another step in Apple's slow but steady evolution of the iPad line. Now, let's be honest. Apple has been playing a long game with the iPad Pro. Think back to when the M1 iPad Pro launched. That was the moment when people said, okay, now this isn't just a tablet anymore. This is a laptop competitor. The M2 came along and refined performance, while the M4 completely transformed the experience with OLED displays and thinner, sleeker designs that felt like the future in your hands. But now with the M5, Apple isn't chasing headlines with flashy overhauls. Instead, they're doubling down on consistency, stability, and meaningful upgrades that matter most to actual users. And when you think about it, this approach makes sense. Once a product reaches maturity, constant reinvention isn't always the smartest move. Instead, the goal is to make it smarter, faster, and more reliable year after year. That's exactly the space where the M5 fits. So what do we actually know so far? Well, the biggest upgrade is obvious, the brand new M5 chip. And if you've been following Apple Silicon from the beginning, you know that every new chip isn't just about adding more speed, it's about adding new capabilities. The M5 is rumored to bring more performance cores for heavy creative workloads, meaning if you're a filmmaker editing in Final Cut Pro, an artist rendering in 3D apps, or even a musician layering tracks in Logic, the iPad Pro won't just keep up. It'll power through without breaking a sweat. And it's not just raw speed. The M5 chip is expected to deliver a smarter, faster neural engine, which is Apple's secret weapon for artificial intelligence tasks. This is where things get exciting, because paired with iPadOS 26, the M5 might be the iPad that finally feels like more than a tablet. It could feel like a creative partner that anticipates your needs. Let's pause for a second and picture this in real life. Imagine you're a college student juggling 5 different apps at once: Safari for research, Notes for writing, FaceTime for group study calls, messages buzzing in the corner, and Keynote for your big presentation tomorrow. On an older iPad, things start to stutter. On the M5 iPad Pro, it's smooth, seamless, and efficient, with enough headroom left to render a video in the background. Or imagine being an illustrator, sketching on the Apple Pencil Pro, while the M5's neural engine quietly enhances your lines, suggests color palettes, or helps you instantly turn your sketch into a refined vector. That's the kind of invisible magic that powerful chips enable, not features you think about, but experiences you can't live without once you try them. But hardware is only one half of this story. The other half is software. iPadOS 26 is rumored to be Apple's most ambitious update yet, and AI is at the heart of it. Think about automatic note summaries, perfect for students, journalists, or professionals. Think about real-time translation for global video calls, or even AI-powered design tools that help creators push their work to new levels. Combined with the M5 chip, these features don't just make the iPad faster, they make it smarter. And that's the direction Apple is clearly pushing toward, making the iPad less of a big iPhone and more of a personal assistant, a creative studio, and a productivity hub rolled into one. This isn't about flashy new hardware alone, it's about software and silicon working hand in hand. Now, design. People love asking, will it look different? And honestly, the answer is probably not. From everything we've heard so far, the M5 iPad Pro will look very similar to the M4. The thin bezels, the sleek aluminum frame, the premium build, it's all here to stay. There are whispers that Apple may increase the screen sizes slightly, perhaps to 11.5 and 13.5 inches, giving users just a bit more real estate without making the device feel bulky. But don't expect a radical redesign. And here's why that's not a bad thing. Apple doesn't redesign the iPad every year for one simple reason. It already nailed the formula. The design is modern, minimal, and professional. Changing it too much risks alienating users who love the familiarity and accessory ecosystem. Instead, Apple is refining the design in small ways that make sense, such as possibly improving the front-facing camera setup with dual lenses. So whether you're holding the iPad vertically or horizontally, FaceTime and Face ID always feel natural, and this is where Apple's philosophy really shines. Less can actually be more. Other tech companies throw everything at their devices: multiple gimmicky cameras, foldable screens, bizarre new features that sound cool but rarely matter in day-to-day use. Apple's restraint, in contrast, can actually be a strength. By not overloading the iPad Pro with things you don't need, Apple ensures the device feels polished, consistent, and reliable. Professionals don't want constant reinvention. They want stability. They want to buy a device and know it will perform flawlessly for years. That's what the M5 represents. Not a revolution, but a promise of reliability with enough new power and intelligence to keep the iPad Pro at the top of its game. Of course, we can't ignore the big questions. When is it coming and how much will it cost? Most analysts agree that fall 2025 is the window, with October being the most likely month. That lines up with Apple's typical product cycle, and it also gives them space to separate the iPad Pro launch from iPhone season in September. As for price, don't get your hopes up for a discount. The M4 iPad Pro already raised the baseline by introducing OLED displays, and the M5 is unlikely to be any cheaper. Expect similar pricing to the current models, starting at a premium and climbing higher with larger storage options, cellular connectivity, and accessories like the Magic Keyboard and Pencil Pro. Apple knows its target market isn't looking for budget tablets. They're looking for uncompromised performance, and they're willing to pay for it. So that brings us to the ultimate question. Is the M5 iPad Pro worth it? Well, if you already own the M4, the upgrades may feel subtle. Yes, the M5 chip and iPadOS 26's AI features will be impressive, but visually and physically, the device will feel familiar. However, if you're upgrading from an older model like the M2 or even the M1, the jump will feel massive. Faster performance, OLED displays, smarter software, and improved cameras add up to a completely different experience. For many, this could finally be the iPad that makes them leave their laptop behind. For others, it may feel like Apple is playing it safe. But safe doesn't mean boring, it means dependable. It means you're buying into a platform that has matured and continues to evolve at a steady pace. At the end of the day, Apple isn't just releasing another tablet. They're selling you their vision of the future of portable computing. A future where power, intelligence, and design converge into one seamless device. The M5 iPad Pro may not shock you with a radical redesign, but it doesn't have to. Its strength lies in refinement, in consistency, and in purpose. And in a world of endless tech gimmicks, maybe that's the smartest play Apple could make. The question is, are you ready to invest in that future, or will you wait to see if Apple has something even bigger planned down the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments, let's talk about it. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns of the tech shaping tomorrow.